since you've been home?
Yeah, it's been a struggle to just get up and move. I was the first 21 days they kept me tied to a bed and wouldn't let me out of the bed. Uh,
We
I
are
was on.
live.
Oh, thank you. I was on the respirator goodie. So
Yeah. Well, good morning,
good
everyone.
morning.
Wake up with Toastmasters Wednesday.
Yay!
Woo-woo. I am your host today, Jennifer Smith, the District 115's PRM, and I have my co-host and host, I would say, because, he's Gene Dunford.
Hey.
So, Gene, thank you for coming on today. We have no guest, but I figured that we would talk about some things that may be of importance. So, I'm going to go back to, I think it was August 2020. I think it was August 2020. You and Jean decided that you were going to do this little show and talk about the Toastmasters and how our club meetings go and the logistics of it. And now it has evolved into a little talk show and where we talk about anything about Toastmasters, which is pretty cool. And we have guests on the show. Originally, you and Jean were talking about how you wanted to have mini meetings.
Yep, that was our idea. We invited a couple of clubs to come on and have a meeting on the air doing the show, and that's what we thought we would like to see, is to promote the club and to show people what Toastmasters was all about. And it was hard to get a group of people. I mean, you can see how it is with you and I, but if you have like 10 people trying to do a presentation all at the same time, it gets a little unwieldy on
Yeah.
Zoom. Each person needs their own box and everything. So it was like doing what do they call those meetings, for a hybrid meeting,
Yeah.
where everybody was in a different space and they were uh, all talking at the same time, and you had no control over it. So, but it was the first meeting was really good. We had the people come on and they did a meeting, and then we kind of did a little interview with them. And then the next meeting, Gene was a little late getting online, and so I was stuck there, and I wasn't sure what to do with the beginning of the thing. And I said, "Oh, well, tell me about when you first joined Toastmasters." And that's where it kind of took off from there. Is, hey, let's interview these people rather than letting them do a
Yeah,
meeting.
I like it. So, and the intent was, and we talk about our little show, and the intent is to show people about Toastmasters, prospects, and about Toastmasters. Now, we we want this is because of the fact that there's so many questions about Toastmasters and what people are going through and why they're still doing it. And I think, and I do believe that it's important for us to show versus, the canned commercials that we have or the YouTube
Right.
and the flyers where everybody looks like, Barbie and Ken and they're, shaking hands and and I think that it's important to hear what a Toastmaster actually goes through.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because when I think it was yesterday, I think Ken and Phyllis, yeah, yesterday were talking, and there's 360,000 Toastmasters worldwide. I think that's a low number, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a low number, and it is because I don't know how many people, we could ask Google one day or Alexa how many people are in the world, populating the world, and 360,000 people is a low number. So
Right.
therefore, I think that we are not doing our job in getting our members or showing to Toastmasters or to the world what Toastmasters can benefit from it. So I have posted where I can't even remember the actor. Somebody won an Academy Award and he claimed that Toastmasters, or she, I can't remember, claim that. She went to Toastmasters because she knew she was going to get this award and to be able to do a presentation for public speaking that way. Even though you're an actress, you probably write down the lines, right? And recite them. But she felt the value of that. And also Les Mills, Les Brown, sorry, Les
Uh-huh.
Brown, who is a public speaker, motivational self development speaker, would always talk about Toastmasters and talk about how Toastmasters was important for his self development. And he would brag over and over about, hey, if I went to Toastmasters to learn this, and he walks the stage, he looks at the audience, he laughs, he has a great time. And that's where I heard about Toastmasters, was from him. And then I never looked it up, right? And so I was telling somebody about why I think social media is important, because of the fact that when I saw Erica, hi Erica, if you're watching, I saw Erica get her pen, and then I was like, Toastmasters, Les Brown. And funny story about that. Erica, there was a networking event that we went to, and she was assisting getting the speakers in and out of to the airport and back to the show place where we were doing the presentation. And she got to drive Les Brown to the airport. So that's pretty cool that it's almost full circle. So Les Brown, if you hear your name and I'm talking about you, then maybe you can come on the show and talk about why Toastmasters is important. Also, there's a book that I read and cannot remember the title or the author of it. It's an older book, and he talked about, and I actually posted this on Facebook. If you want to do public speaking, you have sales presentations, you have communication problems, then you should join Toastmasters as a growth opportunity for you. So there's a lot of reasons to join Toastmasters, and a lot of backup in history of why people join Toastmasters. And I I think that when we have real people tangible, that we can almost touch because we're still on the Zoom, that it does make it more personal. And, when Jean and Jean first started the idea and doing the club meetings, I was like, maybe that'll work, right, Jean? I know you went on mute. I think you have people in the background. You're gonna go.
Now I'm unmuted. I also opened up Facebook so I could see if anybody was sending us a comment. So,
Oh, good, good.
yeah, so here we are. Our son has to go to work, so we're taking him to work, and there was a lot of noise in the background. So, yep, I
Yeah,
muted.
yeah,
But
that's
yeah, I believe we're talking about Toastmasters and how important it is to public speaking, and I think that for me, I was working in a group as a part of a technical group,
hmm
and we would all work together as a team to do a project. And so I had this part of the project, they had that part of the project, and we had to put, you know, at some point or other, the two pieces have to go together.
yeah.
And we weren't communicating very well. And I've gotten through Toastmasters the ability to say, hey, wait a minute, we need to do this over here, rather than just sitting back and saying, well, it's not my job. I don't get paid to make those decisions. And when I see something going on, is to just jump in and say, hey, what about this over here? We need to take care of that. And I didn't have that before Toastmasters because I was a little nervous, and I didn't want to look bad. What if I'm making a mistake? So I made a mistake. I see you already got that covered over there. Okay, that's great. But with Toastmasters, I learned that I could step out of my shell and be present in that moment to
Mm.
do more than I was by just doing my little part.
Yeah, and that's important, an important comment about that because I actually, believe it or not, I do have a little shell. People are like, "What?" I do have a shell, and sometimes when you're surrounded by people and everybody else has their opinion, and you're like, "Well, maybe nobody wants to hear my opinion," and but your opinion does matter. My opinion does matter. Everybody's opinion matters. So it also helps you draw out some information from people as well. When you're working, like you said, with a couple of people and texts don't like to talk to each other anyway, especially like IT. They don't want to talk to anybody. And I commend you for being able to, Gene, have that conversation with yourself going, I do need something more because IT people or any kind of tech, I know that they're kind of an introvert or just want to do it themselves and be able to get it done because, of course, you guys are smarter than most. So who's smarter than the next one? And I don't need you, right?
But
So I,
things are so big, even in the IT world with modules. You've got
mhm,
several people working on a module, and
mhm,
you're trying to put a whole big package together. If you're not communicating throughout the process, something's going to get left out. And we've all had a program that doesn't work right for some reason or other, and I think that's the problem. Is there
mhm.
wasn't communication on getting that module to fit.
Yeah, make it fit somehow, some way. And the only way to be able to do it is when you communicate, you can actually guide that piece together. So it's a great way to, I think that was a great way to give that analogy for it. Now, so we talk about public speaking and we talk about presentations, and there's a lot of people out there who would like I would think the glamour of sales and the shyness of them. It kind of keeps them away. That's a nice ringtone. Either he's going to go on
Yeah.
mute or will you mute yourself? Gene, thank you.
Sorry.
That's all right. Must be his alarm. So, but I was talking about salespeople and presentations, and we have a lot of salespeople in our membership in our district, and I commend people who understand that when you are in sales, that you do have a presentation to present, and when you are going through your materials and you're doing the ums and the ahs, that's not confidence, right? It's not a way that to present yourself. But if you go through Toastmasters, it makes you stop, pause, and then present. So for those of you who have your New Year's goals of self-development, Anita and I talked about that last week or the week before. We talked about self-development and growth and how Toastmasters can help you with that as well. We had our guest last week, Paul, and boy, do I wish we could talk to him a little bit more and on his growth and his perspective, because as we are on the other side of the pond from him, I think that there's a lot of similarities that we go through as a district and as clubs here. And their clubs are growing, and I would like to get more ideas on how to relate. And I'll go back to that one too, relate to the audience so that hey, they find that there is a benefit of Toastmasters. This show is actually a byproduct of where Toastmasters gives us that encouragement and that confidence to be able to talk to the world, right? And that's funny that I even said that because we do have a brochure to help with public relations that says "Tell the world," but this show gives us that confidence to be able to do that. I know there's a lot of people, especially in my industry as well, that we go, well, what if I don't do it right? How do I speak on video, what if I sound stupid, or whatever that goes through your mind when you're getting ready to do videos. I had that. We have a social media speaker, and she says, do the video, turn it off, walk away, and post, or
Yeah.
post and then
Yeah.
walk away. Don't look back at it, because
Yeah.
it's who you are. You don't have to be perfect to do it. But Toastmasters also gives you that confidence to be able to do that video. There's so many things that are going through my mind right now that I have to go back to videos as well. But we do have that capability to be able to give that person the confidence to do that. When Jean asked me, I think the first time, hey, do you want to do that show? I was nervous, right? I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I really want to come on. I don't know if I want to do this by myself. I remember I did one show by myself. Nobody was on there, and I just talked like I normally do, on and on and on and on. And it's fun. So, and then I was talking to myself when I was doing that. I wasn't, the audience, anybody looking back. I was talking to myself and talking about the 10 best things of Toastmasters. So that no one ever tells you about. Well, anyway, do you have any other comments on that, Jean?
I think that we've covered that pretty well. I think that what we need is to have a club or two put together a video that we could run of their club, like a little advertisement. And we could run like a five, maybe a 2, 3 minute video of them doing something at their club. And we could put it on the live feed. I think I've seen Ken do that. I'm not sure how we do that.
No, he doesn't do a live feed. You can't do a recorded video on a live feed.
Oh, you can't?
No, Facebook won't let you.
Ah,
But we
okay.
could put that on a Club Growth.
We could put it on the Club Growth page.
Now we could put
Yep.
that on.
Yeah.
Now we'll have our
Yeah.
little brainstorming.
Yeah.
What comes out of our brainstorming. But yeah, we could do a little video. And that's, Taka Toastmasters
Mm-hmm.
is coming in February.
Sure.
And that's one of the things that I did. I did a calendar where it says, have a conversation, or not have a conversation, but record the best part of your meeting and post it on your socials.
Yeah.
And one of the things about videos, I'm reading a book, and it's human centered, and how to make videos more humanizing, in the digital world. And it's not going to go away. Videos is not going to go away. Virtual is not going to go away. And so I'm reading this book that hopefully that it can help myself, and it'll help others, especially in our Toastmaster world, that encourage us to do videos and encourages us to be more personable and put it out there, because of the fact that there's so much that's going on out there. The book is actually teaching you how to be more personable and trusting. So it'll take, I think it has 11 sections in different parts of industries and how they use videos. So I'm just at the introduction, but basically the first part, this is what the book's about, is to be more humanizing. And I find that this show that we do, I think it's down to earth, it's humanizing. It is, maybe we ramble on sometimes and people are like, oh my gosh, but you put it in the background like a podcast and you just keep on going, and then there's some good points. I believe every show that we do has a good point on either life itself or on Toastmasters being a member or a potential member. So before we get off on our day, we do have training, and I wanted to talk about why our training sessions, TLI is coming up, and why that's important. We are doing in person, and I think we have 60 people registered for our in person. So that's really good. I'm really happy about that. I can't wait to see you guys, but the only way that I can see you guys is if I have a negative test of COVID. So just to let you guys know that we will practice COVID standards on
Right.
that. And I'm quarantined right now. I don't have it, but I am quarantined because I've been exposed. But so I go take the test tomorrow, and I'm not even sure if it's a rapid test or not. So I may or may not be there, but it is still important that if you the reason why you show up is to learn more. And Toastmasters is all about education, self development, things that can help you personally, things that can help you in your career. It's not just about the officer training. I will tell you what, and I probably have mentioned this before, that my first TLI was not an officer. I There was a list of program sessions, and I'm like, I'll go. And my first session was Darren LaCroix. So, Darren, maybe if you're watching, you can come on our show. But it was Darren LaCroix, and he talked about presentation and being on the stage and being the world class public speaking. I can't remember
World
what
champion.
world champion of thank you, world champion of public
Public.
speaking. And I and so that was one session, and then I went to another session, and it was new membership for Toastmasters, and where they talked about what our goals were with Toastmasters and gave the Toastmasters mission and the promise. And I remember going back to Valley Voices and Vices and said, "Oh my gosh, I learned so much from TLI." And it wasn't about an officer training; it was just about presentation. Get your goals. How many times do you want to speak in a meeting, and the reason why you are a Toastmaster. And I was just so filled with pride that I actually went and I learned. And I hope that any new members who do go to the TLI on Saturday or even on the Monday, the 24th, get that same experience that I had, because it was a great experience. Jean, do you remember your first TLI or the best TLI that you went to?
Hmm. I've been to so many of them. When I was division governor for the first time, Ken Richardson, who's now Club Growth, no, I can't PRM,
Yes.
right?
No,
Public, no,
he's Club Growth.
he's Club Growth. All right, thank
I'm
you.
PRM.
So there you go. I get them all right. So anyway, he and I were both division governors at the time, and we were doing the TLI here, and we always had them at Cashman Center, which is
Oh, wow.
long since closed.
Hmm.
And we had like 8 rooms there, and we put it all together. And he and I and another, I can't remember her name, was it was C, H, and D, I think were the divisions that were here, and the rest of it was all in California. So we
Hmm.
put on the TLI here, and it was 8 rooms. We had all different kinds of officer training, of course, but we also expanded that into different classes, where we provided some information about how to do a specific thing in Toastmasters. So
Yeah.
that was my first time of putting one together, and fortunately I had Ken there as the go-to person for everything. He and I would meet for breakfast, and we would have these breakfast discussions for like 4 weeks before the thing, and
Yeah.
it was like the best time that I ever had in Toastmasters were working with Ken. So he's a great guy, and I'm glad that he's stepping up into leadership.
Yeah, and he is doing an amazing job. And and as the club growth, we have to get 11 new clubs in the next 5 months, 6 months. So it's very daunting. And the reason why we are doing this presentation is this show is because of the fact that we would like new clubs, more members, and so people know what Toastmasters is all about. And trust me, we have 800 members, right? And so there's the core few that are the pushing of the membership, and everybody else gets to benefit from the Toastmasters. So when you see us working, and that's one of the things that I think that we do talk about, us working and volunteering and voluntolding, but it's something that we want to do. But the rest of the passion is just about being a member, right? It's just about getting it through and having that growth. So TLI is another growth opportunity. It happens once every 6 months, and it's just something that all members should attend and learn from. It's a benefit. That is a bonus. It's a
Yeah.
bonus benefit of being a Toastmaster.
Even if you're thinking about being an officer at some time, you can go and you don't have to be the club officer, like
Mm-hmm.
president or something like that. You can go to that training and see what it's all about before you raise your hand and say, "Hey, I want to be president," or "I want to be the treasurer."
Yeah,
So it's a great learning experience.
yeah, absolutely. I don't think, have I gone to any other club? I think I went to secretary or something. I just went just because I think I had a minute to sit and do. But yeah, and now virtually you can almost pop into any of the sessions. But yeah, you go in and say, oh well, what is this VPPR all about, and or what if this membership uh, vice president of membership is about.
Right.
So then you can learn, and maybe you can sit on a committee and be part of that. Because now I always say, when we talk about politics, I always go, the presidency is not a person, right? It's the whole everybody
Right.
behind them.
Yeah.
And the same with the PRM, or here with the president and district director and area director and club growth and PDQ. It's not one person, it's everybody that you have underneath you. So you can't have a committee if you're the committee of one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you do want to learn what other people do, give us a call and we can assist you with that, and you can help us grow.
Right. We have participation as optional, but it works better if you participate.
Yeah. So is there anything out there on the Facebook world?
So far, it's just me.
It's just you.
Just me. I said
Wow.
like, comment, and share, and repost this to your Facebook feed.
Yeah.
Uh,
And we have our club growth committee meeting, and we do talk about that, and it's more than digital. It is definitely, we do get to see people face to face, talk about Facebook, share what you have to say about, talk about Toastmasters, share your experience, share the show. If you like a certain part of the show, tell your friends. I really liked it, 10 minutes when they were talking about the growth, or when they were talking about the goals, or talking about the self-development. So just share it that way. And then if there's something that you really, really like, tell me and I can clip it down to size. And, if it's only a minute, then you can share that instead of sharing this whole entire video. So you will see little excerpts of our show out and maybe boosted as well, because sometimes the whole show doesn't have something of benefit, but that one moment that somebody said something could have been very profound, and you're like, that right there needs to be shared. So
and
yeah.
we're always looking for guests. If you want to come on and talk about your club or something about Toastmasters, we'd be happy to have you sign up to come on and schedule an appointment and come on the show.
Absolutely.
Is
Wow.
everybody contacting Ken for the appointments? Is that
Yeah,
how they're
they're
doing?
contacting Ken, or if they wanted to post in comments that they would like to appear as
Yeah.
well. When we had Paul on last week, he was commenting, and I said, come be on the show.
Yep.
And he was like, yeah.
All right.
So he
So yeah,
came
we're
on.
always looking for guests.
Yeah. Yes. So it is, I think he actually had a comment on something and it just dawned on me what he was talking about. So, Paul, I get what you're talking about. I will message you back if you're watching. Okay, well, we have been on for 30 minutes, I think. So, is there anything else that's going on and out in the world before we head out?
We have the TLI coming up. That's really close, and if you don't come for anything else, come for the snacks because they've got some really good snacks at the TLI. So yeah, come and learn about club officers. I think there's a couple other trainings that are being thrown in as well.
Yeah.
So you just come.
The agenda actually just went out to those who have registered, not to the whole membership. So anybody who's watching, asking what the agenda is, you're supposed to go to TLI anyway, so just register. You
So
don't need to
how do they find where to register for the TLI? Is that on the
It is
district
on
page?
Facebook and it's on the website.
Okay.
So it is on our D115 group Facebook page if you are a member. If you are not a member of D115, message us below, comment below, and we can get that information because it's definitely our club, our district event. But if you, I think I posted it on the region as well, just so that for the online one. So for
Right.
those who need to get
Right.
their membership, and Monday would be the only one,
Yep.
their officer training, then yeah, they can go online on Monday the 24th as well.
Okay.
So,
Looking forward to it.
all right. So on that note, it is 6:27. It is Wednesday. So it is time to sign off. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. And anything else, Gene?
Come in tomorrow. I think Ken's going to be on, right?
Oh, yes, thank you. So Ken and
Yeah.
Phyllis, I don't know if they have a guest tomorrow, but of course, whatever they do, they have some really good information. We are fortunate to have them to lead the way of information and researching on Toastmasters International and find out what comes out. So they're pretty cool. And Jean and Jean, the pair of Jeans, will be on Friday. I don't know if they have a guest, but I'm sure they have some fun things to talk about.
I'm
We're
teaching the
always
I'm teaching the dog some tricks. If nothing else, I'll have the dog roll over for us.
we're always learning about something. So all right, guys. Well, have a great day and stay safe out there.
Excellent. Bye, everybody.
Bye.